He started sending me Bible verses, telling me I was of the devil. I mean, it was nuts. I will wait for you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Megan. For those of you that have been rocking with me, what's up? Today's video, y'all, I'm super excited about, and y'all should be too, because when I put a poll out on my Instagram stories and my YouTube channel, what y'all wanted my content video to be about, most of you picked dating in my 30s, the ups and downs. And a few of you picked girl chat, so we just gonna mix it up and we're gonna call it a girl chat about dating in my 30s. Y'all, as I was writing down the way I wanted to break it down to y'all, I had so much that I could share. So I was like, okay girl, you gonna do a series on this, because if I do one dedicated video to this, we might be here all day. Yes, y'all, that's how much I have to tell y'all. So if you are new here and you are ready for this content, press the subscribe button, put the bell notifications on, and yes, so you will know when I drop another video. Cause y'all, I got some wine, the tea, whatever you wanna call it, we gonna sip tonight. So with that being said, your girl has her wine for this girl chat because, ooh, it is gonna be juicy. I am actually drinking Apothic Red, the soft red blend. So yes, drink responsibly if you're drinking with me, and you gotta be 21 or older. And y'all know I'm 21 or older because I'm talking about dating in my 30s. So let's just get right into it. Y'all, let me just say, let me drink. For those of you that don't know, I'm a single mother of two girls. I have a 13-year-old and a 3-year-old. And of course, it did not work out. So yes, your girl is single. So I have been, you know, pretty much single since my daughter was born. That's a story for a whole nother day, but we'll get there one day. And I just had no desire to date anyone after she was born. I was like, nah, it's not for me. I'm just gonna focus on me. I'm gonna focus on bettering myself. And that's exactly what I did. Cause you know what? Heartbreak will definitely let you glow up, and your girl glowed up. But after a while, I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I can just get my feet wet in dating again. And so that's what I did. I am giving you the perspective of me being single. I have 2 children, so my perspective of dating may be different than someone that is without children, because as you know, my children come first, and so I have limited time to be wasting time or to be doing this and that with just, you know, dating without intention. So yes, my perspective may be different from yours, and that's okay. This is about my opinion. This is just me sharing, and I know somebody can relate to me. I know somebody can relate to me. Let's get into it. So back during the pandemic, y'all, I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was like, oh, you need to get into online dating. Because it was the pandemic, you know, we couldn't really go out and meet somebody. I wasn't really trying to do that anyway. So I was like kind of scared at first, because I really never did the online dating thing. Y'all, when I say I signed up for the online dating, and when I got on there, I want to run off. But she told me, give it some time. So I was like, okay. And so I decided to just stay on the app a little bit more longer, even though I cringed every time I opened it. But I did meet somebody on the app, and let me just say, this guy was really, really nice looking. When I sent the pictures to my cousin, she was like, girl, I'ma just tell you, he looks like he's the same type of dude that you've been dating from your past. And that was true. She was definitely right about it, but I was like, you know, I like what I like. And against my better judgment, I was like, you know, I like what I like. You know, when we started chatting on the dating app, he just sounded, you know, pretty decent. He didn't look creepy. So, you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And this is within like 1 week of me on the dating app, right? So after, you know, chatting on the dating app for like a week, we decided to exchange numbers. I was like, okay, I'm digging him, he's digging me, he looks good. You know, he's from the same town as I am. He doesn't sound like a catfish. You know, he sounds legit. So we exchanged numbers, we started talking, and he really is like, wow, this is nice. We stayed chatting on the phone. We would talk for hours. When I say it was like high school all over again, you know how you on the phone with your boo in high school and y'all would just like be sleeping on the phone? That was us, y'all. We stayed on the phone all night. We would wake up in the morning, talk. It was like he liked to talk, which I'm a talker. I can text you, but you know, I do like to chat every once in a while. I don't like guys that just want to text. Like, do you talk? Do you have something to hide? Like, what's the problem? But he was really adamant about me talking to him. And so he really pretty much checked off the things on my list at the time. My things on my list were he liked the same things as me. Y'all, I had dated someone prior to, and they had me watching game shows like Taxi Cab, and I was like trying to, you know, not be too picky, but I was like, I really don't like this. But this dude, you know, he liked the same things as me. We had a lot of interest in common. As I progressed dating in my 30s, my 20s pretty much showed me what I did not want, and the failed relationships showed me what I will not tolerate. In the past, in relationships, I've been treated, you know, really well, like a queen, and then some instances I was treated and I tolerated way too much where I shouldn't have tolerated anything at all. So by the time I'm in my 30s, y'all, I have a whole different perspective. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna deal with, this is what I'm not gonna deal with. And so yeah. So not only did he like the same things as me, he also was very chill. Like, we had the same vibe, and y'all, the vibes were really, really good. He was a father, and so, you know, that's okay. Like, I'm not opposed to dating anybody with kids because I have kids. But one thing I am opposed to, if you don't take care of your kids, I can't deal with you. And so when we talked, he talked highly of his kids. He had, you know, a great relationship with them. There was many times I heard them in the background. So, you know, I was like, okay, he's not just putting on a show, he's really involved in their lives. And so that's something that I really do look into. Not only that, I had asked him what his profession was, and he was like he had been working with the same company for a little bit over, I think 2 or 3 years, and he was a supervisor in that profession. So I was like, okay, he's stable. Also talks about things like his what he liked to do, and he was not a smoker. I've dated smokers. I hate smoking, so that was like A1. I was like, okay, he don't smoke. Yes. He also was not a drinker, which I like to socially drink, but I've dealt with someone that liked to indulge in drinking a little bit too much, and so that was another thing that I was looking for. I was like, look, you can't be a drinker. And so he did not really like to drink, so that was even better. He had his own place. I'm in my 30s. I have had my own place. And you know, even if he did not have his own place and he was working toward his own place, I would have been pretty much okay with it. But as long as he was working towards it, but he had his own place, so I was like, okay, that's even better. He did have a vehicle, but he stated that, you know, his vehicle was giving him some problems. But you know, I'm not like a materialistic type of person. You know, I understand people that's trying to make it, and so I admired that about him. He had like drive, and he had, you know, he was very motivated and ambitious. So things were going really, really good. There was a few things that I had noticed, but you know, I was just trying to be like, let me stop being my usually picky self and just, you know, kind of like go with the flow of things. Plus, it was during the pandemic, so it wouldn't hurt to just, you know, get to know somebody. And then maybe whenever things got lifted at the time, we thought that things would get lifted pretty quickly. Then, you know, we could progress with our dating. But there was one thing I did notice. I noticed that he required a lot of time. He loved to talk to me. At the time, I was really doing a lot of things with my social media, and I was really trying to get consistent. So he kind of, I'm not gonna say he hindered me in that aspect, but I really enjoyed talking to him, so I allowed it. So yeah, now let's get to, you know, what ended up happening, because as you know, I'm not with him. I started to notice a little bit of, you know, red flags. So, and when I take deep breaths, y'all, it's because I'm trying to find the words to not say it so insulting. But there were a few things that I was like second guessing, really taking him seriously as far as us progressing in a committed relationship. And so one day we started talking about finances. He didn't believe in like banking. And so I was like, okay, well, what you mean? Because, you know, all I know is since I've been in college, since I've had a job, all I've known is you put your money in the bank. And so as we were talking, he was just like, you know, his mentality about banking was just way off for me. It was a major red flag, first of all, because we are in our mid-30s. And you should know better than that. At this point, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you should know better than that. And then again, I was still not convinced that, you know, it couldn't work, but that was a major red flag for me because I'm like, I can't have no dude hiding his money in a mattress. Like, what? Who does that? I think from what, if I can remember correctly, he said something about a Cash App card, and y'all, I was like, oh Lord. I was like, oh no. To me, like, at this age, I cannot be trying to convince you to put your money in a bank. But again, you know, that wasn't the major deal breaker for me. It was one thing that, you know, my little spidey senses was like, ding, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So, you know, we continued to talk. But there was another red flag. Early in the video, I told you that his car was giving him some problems. So, you know, he told me that he was going to probably get a car with a note. He had been looking at these nice cars and he was going to go to the dealership because he didn't, you know, the car that he had was giving him problems and he just bought it from somebody. He went from, he was going to get a car to a dealership to, oh, I saw this man and he was selling a car and I think I'm going to buy it. So I'm like, oh, what kind of car is it? Like, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe. But then I'm like, okay, you can't be getting money from a bank because you don't believe in banking. So anyway, so he was like, oh, it's a Crown Victoria Law. The Crown Victoria Law. That really took me back to my 20s. The relationship I was in my 20s. I was like, a Crown Victoria, what? But anyway, you know, I'm not materialistic. I was just like, but you just said that you wanted to get a car that was reliable, whatever. Like, why you don't just go get a car like regular people, get a note and call it a day so that way it can be reliable and you're not trying to fix up on a car. But then he started talking about this Crown Victoria, which to me, how can I say it? To me, that's just a hood car. I'm sorry. I said it. Don't bash me in the comments. I said it. And so I'm just like, Crown Victoria, all right, whatever. And then he starts to proceed to talk about like these rims he wants to get for this car. And I was just like, whoa. And that's when it got a little too hood for me. But that's not the worst part, y'all. One day we were talking and he just was like, he wanted to quit his job. So I was like, okay, you know, I get it. Sometimes I hate my job too. Like, I get it. I know that in order to quit my job, I better have something lined up because as an adult, you have responsibilities. You know, if you in a house or if you're in an apartment, you got rent to pay, you have bills to pay. And if you're a father, then you have children to feed and to, you know, take care of. I was supportive in that aspect and I was like, you know, well, maybe if you could start, you know, looking for something else. I understand, you know, right now they're making you mad and this, that, and the third. So, you know, he had other aspirations and he wanted to build himself up. He wants to go back to school for a certain thing that he was trying to get. And I believe it was like a trade school. And so I was like kind of supportive in that aspect. But it wasn't until like one day me and him were just talking and he was just like, I was like, oh, because, you know, usually I knew his schedule. Like, we talked so much, I knew his schedule. And so I was like, oh, isn't it time for you to go to work? Y'all, this man told me he had quit. I was like, what? I was like, what? That really, like, did it for me. But I was like, okay, I'm not going to just cut him, you know, loose while he's down. Like, that would be rude. And I'm that type of person. I'm very, very sincere. I am kind. I don't, you know, want to be rude to people unless you're rude to me. Then it's a whole different story. So after he quit his job, I was just kind of like, financially, we're not on the same level as far as finance literacy. The types of things that I'm used to and what he's used to, we have different lifestyles. So that was like a second red flag. And I am not I am very, very humble and I give people chances, but I have learned in my past that sometimes giving people chances is lowering my expectations and lowering my standards. And so I just made a promise to myself, like, that's my standard, that's my standard. I can't be mad at my standard. And so to me, our lifestyles were not the same, and I just didn't see it changing, because to me, maybe I could have showed him a different lifestyle and maybe I couldn't, but I just wasn't willing to take that gamble, because like I said, in my previous relationship, that's what I dealt with. And y'all, I was getting flashbacks. Every so often I was getting flashbacks, and I don't ever want to go back there. And then the icing on the cake was just quitting your job with nothing to back you up. You needed a backup plan. Like I just, all those red flags just kind of started coming at once. And against what my cousin said, I'm gonna go back to my cousin, because I would tell her, and she's like, I told you, like, he looks like someone from your past, like someone you dated a long time ago. Like, why would you want to date that person all over again? And so yeah, she did tell me, you know, I probably shouldn't have dated him. And yeah, she was right. To me, I felt like it was a test to see if the man I really said I wanted versus the man that I was going to settle for. And so I know that might sound harsh for some of you, but it was just true. And so I was like, no, I'm not settling for that. Like that, those are deal breakers. And when I was talking to my stylist and she was doing my locks, she was like, no, you should not feel bad at all. Like, if those are your standards, those are your standards. If you don't want somebody that's hood, you don't want somebody that's hood. And that's just that. And so you gotta stop feeling guilty, she told me. And she was so right. Like, I was like, you know what, you are right. I did not want to hurt his feelings. I tried to break it off with someone before, and he has scarred me, because when I tried to break it off, this man was so crazy. He started sending me Bible verses, telling me I was of the devil. It was nuts. And I was sitting here looking at my phone like, dude, we only went on a few dates. We didn't even kiss. Why are you telling me I'm of the devil? So that scarred me from breaking it off with people, because he just kept texting my phone. And at that time, we didn't have block on the iPhone. But now that we have that good old block, his tab would have been blocked a long time ago. He wouldn't have had no way to send me any more of them long Bible verses. But anyway, I was kind of scared after that. I was like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't want him to be crazy. And so I was gonna just kind of like stop talking to him, you know, as much, and, you know, just slowly let us drift apart. My friend had convinced me, no, don't do that, just tell him. So I was like, okay, it's more so me, not you. And that's how I broke it off with him. But he still continues to call me. He still continues to like try to say he wants to work it out. And every now and then he would call and he would check on me and stuff like that. But I was just kind of like, you know, at one point I was like, man, I gotta stop answering this phone, because he's gonna continue and I don't want to lead him on in the wrong way. So yes, y'all, that is my online dating, I guess my online dating situation. That was my first experience and probably my last, because I have not been back on the app since. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the first episode of dating in my 30s, my first online dating experience. And yeah, y'all, let me know in the comments, was I rude? Was I harsh? Am I doing too much? Is it like, oh girl, I see why you single, you too picky? You know, let me have it in the comments, but don't be too rude, but just let me have it in the comments. All right, y'all, that was the first episode. It was actually fun, but I can't wait to share the next story with y'all, because it is very, very comical. Comical. I can laugh about it now, but at the time I was like, so yeah, y'all, I enjoyed this. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. Definitely don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. And yeah, y'all, I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.